What's going on, ladies and gents? Cerebro here for T3G, and today we're doing a review on the Thermaltake Versa H21 is what it says here on the box. And we bought this case for a friend of mine. She's doing a build for tax season, doing an upgrade. So we went with something budget-minded, but still that had all the things that we liked about a case. And let's make sure that it does. It almost worked. He almost got it. So here it is. Here it is. It's nice. It's all black. It's black on the inside, which I really like. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the exterior features, and then we'll get into the guts. It does have the front panel here. Now the reason this is kind of sticking out, if you guys can see that, is actually this particular snap down is a little harder than the others. So once I got it off, I didn't want to snap it back in, so then have to yank it out. I'm just afraid of breaking it because it is plastic. And to be truthful, it is kind of cheap plastic and cheap metal. I mean, you can kind of tell that it's cheaper metal, it's lighter metal, so there's really there is concern to be had in terms of breaking things. So I wanted to take it easy, so I left that unplugged. But we do have a USB 3.0 on the front, we have USB 2.0, and we have the audio and microphone headers. We've got power and reset on top. They're kind of separate, which I really like. I don't like when they're right next to each other. So I do like that. We've got 3 optical bays on the front, and a really nice front grille. It's got a nice clean look. That's why I chose this. It's got a little bit of shine on the sides, but for the most part this is all matte. And then the grille itself obviously is a little shiny, and it's got that big old Thermaltake logo on the bottom here. Now there is no glass panel on this side, and both sides are indented, which is nice. For this side, for cable management, the reason I went with this is because of where she actually had it before was up against a wall. So this side, having a fan would have made no difference and made no sense really, because there would have been really no airflow. So I figured get something with a solid side and just focus on the internal cooling. Now on the back here we do have the bottom mounted PSU, which I really like. We've got a 120 mil spot on the back here, and we've got the IO plate spot, and then we have, what do we got? 2, 4, 6, 7 7 PCI slots back here. One is actually already popped out. I presume that's because they're just assuming that you're gonna put one in, but it does come with a cover for it, which I really like. In your bag of goodies, it's got your instructions, it's got some tie downs, some extra standoffs, which is nice, but it does come with the cover for that. So if you don't use that one, or if you end up using one of the other slots by way of your board being larger, and it's got these zip ties here. So yeah, I mean, overall I like what comes with it, and I like the consideration that they put in to say, you know, if you're going to be using a smaller board, or if your you know, alignment is right, that you're going to be throwing in a single slot video card or audio card, depending on what you're doing with it. It's already punched out. It's a little bit less work to do on your part, which is nice. You do have a spot up top for 2 120 mil fans. It's a little kind of nicer design, but overall there's really nothing special about the spot. Really, you could only do the 120s. I don't think you could. You might be able to throw a 140 in the middle. It kind of seems to indicate. It's got a recess up top, which makes me think that maybe you could throw in a rad on top. It's kind of got a recess that's a little larger than the spot. So I'm thinking that you might be able to throw in a radiator up top. The nice thing is on the bottom, if you do decide to make your PSU an intake, or self-cooling rather, you do have a little filter, and the nice thing about it is it's actually kind of locked in place. It's got a little tab that you pull down and then slide out, which is really nice. I really think every case needs to come with some sort of filtration system, and this one definitely does on the bottom and on the front here. So let's pull the front off here. Now the front grille does have kind of a felt filter on it as well. Each of the top spots do. But on top of that, there is this guy. Now this is a removable part filter, and it's actually also the housing for the 120 mil fans. So you can put 2 120 mil fans to then occupy this front area, which is really nice how they put that together, because it's less work internally once you get everything taken apart. Now, something that we've talked about many times with many cases, the front-facing front panel. it's nice on this. As cheap of a case as it is, I think this was, if memory serves, it maybe 55 bucks. And we talked about that before with the, I forget what it was, but one of the other cases we said, the deep cool. We said, you know, for another 10, 15 bucks, we would pay that extra 10, 15 bucks to have that properly managed front panel. And Thermaltake did a really great job with this here, because they actually have kind of a housing for it, which is nice because that means that the actual board itself has a little protection, and the plugs where the cables actually plug in on the board are covered, and you're not going to hit them with the optical drives. That means that you can use all three of these optical drives, or optical bays rather, with no problem, which is really nice. And that's I got to give Thermaltake some kudos for that, because that's something that people don't think about, and obviously a lot of companies don't think about. These guys, like I said, it's pretty cheap metal, but it still has a pretty decent feel to it. The sides are probably the sturdiest component of this whole thing. So they're pretty much the same thing on both sides. So pretty standard. Like I said, it's got that indent, which is nice for some cable management on the back. But otherwise, let's talk about the internals here. What I really like, it has the 2.5 drive bays. So it's got 3 2.5 drive bays, which is really nice. That means you can throw in 3 SSDs in this if you really wanted to go nuts. These are nice, they're removable. It's got toolless design on the optical bays, which is actually very sturdy. The one on the deep cool, they're kind of loose and not really reliable. This is on there. And then you've also got 3 slots for your standard 3.5 drives. Your front panel does come straight back. But you've got your holes here to punch through and be able to run it straight back, which is nice. Now there are no grommets, which does obviously make for a little bit less clean of a look once everything is all said and done. At 55 bucks, you're really not, you're really not looking for that presentation necessarily. You're looking for something that's workable, that's affordable for you at the time, and something that once it's upgraded, you're going to definitely see the benefits of going up in another $20, $30, $40. Now it does have that 120mm fan on the back here, pre-installed, which is nice. It's a nice black fan. I mean, it seems to be pretty straightforward. Got nice motion. The cabling for it is actually heat shrunk, which is really nice. Again, for that little bit of display, all the cables are black inside, which is really nice. Again, you got that heat shrink running on everything, so it's very much a matter of cleanliness, and everything is going to look nice if you keep everything tight. So even though there isn't a ton of, there's no grommets or anything like that to help you with the clean look, you do have a little bit of help from the cables and not being, all kinds of colors. So you're still going to get a decent look. Now, instead of this back panel going all the way down and giving you more grommets, you actually just have an open space down here, which is good and bad. You're going to run most of your power cables down here, so you're really going to see all of them. Again, they're not going through a single small hole, they're going through a very large area. And the other thing that you're going to end up with there is that you're going to be able to see all your cabling. Now, because there is no side panel window, I guess that's not that big a deal, but I don't know. I'm a big cable management guy, so when you have cables kind of still visible to such a degree that there's just no, I can put my arm through here. It's a lot of space, and you really can't hide the cables that are in the back. You've got your big port on the back here for the CPU cutout. You could work with this if you really had to swap out your heatsink, but I really wouldn't. Like I said, I would definitely put this on the ground, and rather not on the ground, on a secure, non-conductive surface. And definitely get get everything taken out before you're going to swap anything out. But that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the blank case. We're going to put everything together. I've got the parts over here. We're going to finish up that video, and then we're going to finish up this video and talk about how everything fits, how everything looks once everything is put together. See you soon. And here we got it built. Now, fully built, there are a couple things I noticed that I didn't think about earlier on. One of the biggest things, while it is nice to have a cutout, you really couldn't work on this. Right now we've got an AMD board in here, so the AMD backplate is actually above the top of the cutout. So really this cutout doesn't do anything for us in this scenario. The other nice thing that I did see is the case itself. They actually did put a little bit of thought into cable management. While it's not pretty back here because you can see through it, there is kind of a decline here where all the cutouts are for the cables. So the nice thing about that means you can pretty much just run it straight down. Now I chose not to do that just because I don't like that would have left a lot of cabling at the bottom because it is that open space that you would have just been seeing this whole rat's nest. I avoided that, so I still kind of bunched it over here behind the SSD slot since we're not really using those. So I still have access to hard drives if we want to expand. If we want to throw in another hard drive, I have that availability here, and I can still utilize that. And I did leave the 6-pin over here, so if we wanted to upgrade the graphics card at any point, we can do that with no issue. Just run this cable through, and we're golden. So overall, she's looking pretty smooth, and I don't know. I would give this case probably like on a 3 guys scale. I'd give it like 2.5 guys. So see here, so nothing major. Just gotta press down a little bit. No bowing, no nothing, which is really nice. I'm gonna throw these screws back on, and we'll be golden. I really think this is going to be a nice build. We've got one 120mm fan on the front to do some air bringing in. We've got the ventilation on the back here with the 120, and then the power supply is actually also working as exhaust. It's going to be pulling some of that heat off of that passively cooling Zotac graphics card. So I think it'll do well, and we could always, throwing in another fan up front isn't going to be a problem. Everything's still very accessible, so it'd be very easy to upgrade the cooling on this by throwing in a few more fans. So I would say, yeah, 2.5 guys out of 3. I would recommend this, and yeah, for a budget build, I think it's got some good features, and it definitely resolves this front panel issue, which is something that we've talked about several times. And overall, now that it's built, it's got some heft to it. There's no, the cheapness of it kind of goes away when you have the actual components in it. It has a bit of weight to it. But yeah, otherwise, that's pretty much it. There's nothing else to say about this, except I'm gonna go boot it up, make sure it works. But thanks guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any comments, if you have any questions on these on this particular case, I'll definitely take some measurements. I know some of you guys have been asking about what graphics cards can fit, so I'll definitely take some measurements ahead of time. So if anybody does have any questions, I'll make sure to have those answers for you guys. But otherwise, make sure you hit us up on t3gtech.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Make sure you like, subscribe, tell your friends about us. If anyone wants to know about computers, if anyone wants to talk about computers, send them our way. We appreciate the conversation. We really do. Thank you for watching. As always, I've been Cerebro for T3G. Signing off.